Hi, my name is Lovey Bunny, and this is another episode in shuttle tatting. Now, in my last video, I went over handy hands. In the loading the shuttles video, I went over handy hands and where to find international distributors for that company. But today we're talking about threads, and I have some of their threads as examples here. We're talking about thread size, right? So what I would recommend as a beginner is, of course, a 10. You go larger than that, there are unique issues with any thread larger than that. If you go smaller than that, you have to be more acutely aware of what looks right and what doesn't look right. And when you get down to a size like size 80, which there are even smaller threads, I just don't have any, you usually end up having to have some kind of magnifying something or another in order to help you. So this is size 10. And in tatting thread, the bigger your number, the smaller the thread. A little bit backwards, I know, I was very confused in the beginning, but this is a size 10. And then we have a size 20. Then we have a size 40. I only have 2 of the size 40. And then this is a size 80. I only have 2 of the size 80. Now, the thing about tatting thread, you can see how they look next to each other. This is small enough that I always use magnifiers. So I have a pair of magnifying glasses. They literally just have magnifiers and they clip right onto your glasses and are like the shape of glasses. But I also have a stand one that I can use. For instance, I live stream, so if you position your camera correctly, you can usually get it to the point where people can see what you're doing as close up as you can. So both are options. I got my magnifiers from Walmart. You can also always look on Amazon. But the important thing about thread, no matter what size you're using, is a good twist. I am not going to ever come on here and say you have to use a certain brand. There's a lot of brands that will work very well. But one thing to keep in mind when you're looking is the twist. What do I mean? Well, for instance, why can't you tat with embroidery floss? Well, you can see how frayed out this end is. It's going to come apart very easily. This is because when people cross stitch or embroider, they tend to only use a few strands at a time, right? So they do that on purpose so you can pull your strands out. Well, the problem is that when you're tatting, what tends to happen is you can poke through this very easily. And the other issue is sometimes you'll make a stitch and only half of them will tighten down properly. And sometimes you get a little piece pulled out that just causes a loop like this. And then it's really hard and difficult to fix that, especially without snapping threads. Because if it happens with one piece of thread, you're yanking on one piece of thread trying to fix that, right? So when looking online, crochet threads might work. I know a great brand on Amazon. I haven't tried it myself, but I have a lot of tatting friends who have. Golo threads have a nice twist. They're twisted tightly. So you can see how little fraying, for instance, on this one is the best. The other ones have a little bit of fraying on the end. But if I cut that even farther down, or if I cut any of these, they're not going to continue to fray past a certain point, which is exactly what you want, because you want that tight twist. Because another issue is sometimes you will make a stitch with this and you're compressing down these multiple threads to the point where it's impeding your ability to close a ring or to move a chain. So it can very quickly get to a situation where you're much more likely to snap these kinds of threads in my experience. So just make sure you have a tight twist. Brand really doesn't matter. I know a lot of people who use, like I said, crochet threads off Amazon. These are all from Handy Hands. I'm most comfortable, and I think what most people use the most, at least in my experience with my circle, is size 20. Size 20 is very easy to move to. It makes very delicate rings and chains. It's beautiful. You can, like I said, more delicate things. You can get even more delicate with this, more delicate with this. You can do very intricate things that don't take up a whole lot of space. The size 10 is a great beginner's size. And yeah, this has been a lesson on threads. I will see you guys in the next video.